We'll now proceed under the 5-minute rule with questions. I want to note that we expect a very long series of votes this afternoon, and I will have to be very strict with the gavel to ensure that all members have an opportunity to ask questions before votes are called. With that, I will now recognize myself for 5 minutes. Professor Murray, does the Dobbs ruling open the door for an anti-abortion majority in a future Congress to pass a nationwide ban on abortion?
It does, Representative Nadler.
Thank you. Ms. Warbelow, in Dobbs, the dissent warns that a broader retraction of other rights is possible, comparing the majority's decision to take away the constitutional right to abortion to pulling a stick out of a Jenga tower. Notably, Justice Thomas also wrote in a separate concurring opinion that the court should eliminate the doctrine of substantive due process, quote, at the earliest opportunity, and called for the court to overturn Griswold v. Connecticut, Lawrence v. Texas, and Obergefell v. Hodges. For some reason he left out Loving. Can you discuss how the majority opinion in Dobbs could be used to challenge other cases involving individual freedoms?
The court's profound rejection of longstanding precedent over 50 years regarding substantive due process is terrifying. It suggests that the court does not have respect for the decisions that it has made, nor for advancing the rights of the people of the United States. Instead, it will callously strip away necessary and needed medical care for millions of people. What's important is that in the future, the court is situated in such a way that it is not willing to apply the Dobbs precedent to other cases. It should not do so. However, the court has not given us profound belief that it will do so.
Do you agree that Congress should fix its earlier mistake by repealing the Defense of Marriage Act? And would you support some level of statutory protection for marriage equality?
The Defense of Marriage Act is a stain on this nation. It represents a time in which there was incredible hostility to LGBTQ people. I have a deep fear that that hostility remains and is bubbling up once again. It's important for Congress to take critical steps to ensure that marriage equality remains the law of the land.
I will note that the Respect for Marriage Act repealing DOMA was introduced by me many years ago.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Obergefell, thank you for your moving testimony. Because of your bravery, millions of people in the United States now have their marriage recognized as legally valid. Can you share with us more about what it was like for you and your husband before the Supreme Court recognized same-sex marriage as a constitutional right?
Thank you, Representative Nadler. It was harmful, it was hurtful to have committed lawfully to the person you love, that most important person in your world, to make those promises, those vows and commitments to each other in a lawful ceremony, and to have the state we call home ignore that, to say that we do not exist. And from the simple fact that as John was dying of ALS, as I mentioned in my remarks, that the fact that Ohio did not recognize our marriage gave every and any medical professional, paramedic, you name it, the ability to deny me access to John's room, to be with John. That could have prevented me from being with John as he took his last breath. And to know that we were just being ignored, and the state of Ohio, as well as other states in this nation, would simply ignore our marriage and say, we don't care, you do not matter, you do not exist. That's incredibly harmful. And for the sheer fact that we were denied the ability to be memorialized or interred together in John's family cemetery plot, which is where he wanted to be. So the harm we faced was pervasive, it was terrible. And as Americans, we are supposed to be part of we the people. And that Defense of Marriage Act at the state level and throughout the nation, that clearly told us we did not belong, we were not part of we the people, and our existence, our marriages were not important.
Thank you. Professor Murray, would you wish to clarify anything that's been said for the record?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question, Chairman Nadler.
Would you
Can
like
repeat
to
it?
clarify anything that's been said for the record?
I just want to emphasize that the point that Representative Jordan made, that this opinion was confined to the right of abortion, is absolutely nonsensical. It is very clear from the logic of this opinion that despite the majority's assurances that this logic could be extended very easily to other rights. And Justice Thomas's concurrence makes that very clear. It is an open invitation to more litigation, and we are already seeing challenges to contraception throughout the states. States that are proposing limiting access to long-acting contraceptions, and even certain individuals like pharmacists refusing to dispense certain forms of drugs because they may be, in addition to dealing with other health conditions,
Thank you.
providing
Thank you. My
abortions
time
as
has
well.
expired.